We were both nominated in 40 Under 40 together. And as you all know, Andy is the connector. And so as soon as we were part of 40 Under 40, I got a LinkedIn and an email, and he did the party of all of the new 40 Under 40 people. And then the next year, he did a party of the next class and the handoff. And so I know that you all have enjoyed Andy as much as I've enjoyed him over the last couple of years. You never know what you're going to get with Andy. If any of you saw our, what was it, our
Harlem Shake.
Harlem Shake. Yes. Andy gave us a little surprise. And so now, with that, Andy, if you could come on up and share, and I'm afraid, I'm excited to hear about what you're going to share this evening with us.
All right, how's this class feeling? Everybody good? Yes. So we know the Leadership Denver tradition. Alumni come up here. We've heard it 3 times today already. They come up here and they start off with, I'm so-and-so, part of the Leadership Denver class of whatever, the best class ever. So I started to think, how are we going to leave our mark? And then it hit me. Trademark. That's right, I trademarked the phrase, the best class ever. Boom! So from here on out, if you use that phrase, that's $1 in our scholarship fund. Because that's sustainable funding. So I'd like to start off with a little story from our retreat last September at the Nature Place. We broke into groups, and my group was faced with this activity of climbing this high wire, and it was like the high wire that goes in a V formation. You gotta stand on the top, and you and a partner have to use each other's balance and cross that high wire. And so the first step was to select our partners. And earlier that day, we all learned about being in your comfort zone, and then getting out of it into a learning zone, and then into your freak out zone. So I knew exactly who I was gonna pick for my partner. Simone. You know, the same girl who asked, exactly how much nature is there at the Nature Place? So we stepped into our harnesses, and you pull those things up, strap them on tight, and they get all up in there like swimwear. Enjoy that mental picture for a moment. And a couple of ropes get tied to us. Our classmates, or it goes over a pulley, a classmate's holding on to this rope, and I look over, where's Lucas, the love muscle? Lucas, I look over at Lucas and I say, en belay, and he says, come on, class, let me hear it. I said, en belay, and he said? Belay on. Climbing. That's my crew. That's right. So, Simone starts her way up first. She gets to the top. I'm up next. I'm climbing, a little bit nervous because I know I'm supposed to be the rock, and I don't want to drop F-bombs like somebody was. Just looking at her. And so I get to the top. Simone and I are faced like this, head to head, a few inches apart. I had some mouthwash, so it was all good. And we exchanged a few pleasantries. She said, hey boo. I said, hey Simone, you ready to do this? She said, how the hell did you get me up here? Are you crazy? I am not walking past that damn rope. You must be out your damn mind. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you wondered, how am I gonna get that person to move? So traditionally, this is the part in the speech where we go on and talk about all the things we've done in the year, but I've got just a few minutes left. So I'm going to use it to talk about our future. And I'd like to get back to that question. What does it take to get someone to move? I believe we've all gone through this journey together and learned that answer. And there's 2 simple questions we ask. The first, what does someone need? Just getting into Leadership Denver means that you're accomplished in your field, but it also means that you have asked that question of what your community needs, and specifically, what are the challenges and issues we face. The second question is one that burns in our hearts and our minds, and that is, how can I help? The strength of this group, of our crew, is that we're constantly in search of answers to that very question, not only for each other, but for our community. And as your class speaker, I'm honored that you guys selected me to share our collective story, the story that is and will be LD13. And in thinking about our story, I reflected on my own story and how I got here. You see, my parents, who are actually here, hi Mom, Dad, My parents came to America just like everybody else in search of the American dream. They had a couple businesses that worked until one didn't, and we lost everything. And so we worked hard. Our family rebuilt. They worked hard. We lived in Lomita Hotel for 15 years of my life and rebuilt our lives that way. And what you saw during the course of this year are people just like me. You see, I needed people like you to help someone like me. To believe that if I were given the opportunity to work hard, that I would prove that I was worth it, that I wouldn't just be another statistic. You believed in me. You believe in people like me to give us that opportunity. And as someone who came from very little money, it's now ironic that I have a firm that helps people with money. And I know that I'm no fool. The successes I've had so far are not because I've done something on my own. They're because great people like you helped me get here. You see, the irony of me being your speaker today is that you helped create me. You are the reason why I'm here. I was the need, and you answered the questions. See, I am because you are. And after nearly a year together, we now have a different perspective on what someone needs and what to look for. You see, when we go into a classroom and we see a child not doing well in school, we don't just simply say, well, he's got to work harder. We now understand profoundly that there might be poverty and hunger that affect their ability to learn and focus in the classroom or to get enrichment programs after school. We also know that great schools are driven by great leaders and teachers, and that it's hard, but we must help them succeed as well. We also understand the downside. If we don't solve this, what happens? We know that those students may very well be our next human services cases, and that when companies are looking to come to the state, they may hesitate because their employees' kids may not have access to a great education. We ask ourselves, how can I help? We know the answer is complex and that we must approach the need from many different angles, that our answers require inclusivity, a bear hug of ideas, experiences, and trust. And I believe that this is what we do with our inclusivity. We've learned that we don't need to have all the answers. We just can't stop asking the questions. When we went to the Denver Rescue Mission, we didn't go there with answers on how to get people off the streets. We went there asking questions like, what do mental illness and addiction, how do those affect persistent homelessness? And what are the challenges and issues you face in serving them? We're not ever going to find an easy way to answer these questions, but we'll get hints of the answer along the way. And I believe that each of you does and will continue to answer the questions, what do they need and how can I help? Knowing that you already have inside you what it takes to change the world. I'd like to conclude with a quote from Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, who said, "The language of truth is simple." In a world of complex issues, my hope and dream for our class is that we keep our truth simple by asking, what do they need and how can I help? My name is Andy Seth, and I'm a proud member of LD13, the best class ever, trademark.
Hey, it's a good thing you're up here, Denise. Hey, boo. So, as a class, we've had an amazing experience, and this experience is made possible by amazing people. So, Mara, come here. We just wanted to present you guys a very small token of our appreciation. I know we kind of baptized you by fire, and Mara, you've been amazing. Can we clap for Mara? So here is a gift for you, Mara, to thank you for everything. And then, Denise, we looked at the numbers and we priced the world. We couldn't afford it. But the class consensus was, what can we give Denise King? And we said she deserves the world and all the happiness and light and joy in it. So instead, we got you this special sentiment box that is filled with inspiration and good vibes and thoughts from all 60 of us. So any day that you're having a rough day, just know that you have 60 plus people that love you unconditionally. And then when you're needing to relax, we got you a little something for relaxation in your special box.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Otherwise I start crying, so I'll just say thank you how much I do love doing this work. So I'm going to move us along. The next thing we want to do is pass out your certificates and a little memento. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to ask Amani Ali, who obviously is the first person in the alphabet,